Welcome to Align Her Coaching Podcast. We are bringing an imagination, discovery through every energy and relationship coaching. You can also follow us on alignher.co. Like and subscribe us on YouTube. We have episodes every Friday. You can listen to on our podcast on Claim Your Worth, or you can also listen to us on You Gotta Meet Her podcast. And we are talking about It's Not About You today. As always, I have my host, my co-host, I guess I should say, Miss Darcey Elizabeth, and I am Christine Barr. And again, we are talking about It's Not All About You. And this is not necessarily from a listener. This is for us because we have been talking about this. We have been feeling this. And when do you say, yo, it's not all about you? How do you tell people, like, hey, like maybe this isn't about you? I don't know, but we're going to have a conversation about it because it's a topic that we feel like we can bring home so that we can touch you and your home. So Darcey, how do you feel about It's Not About You? Bring us some energy into that.
Yeah. So here's the thing. A lot of times when people are mad at you, quote unquote, or you take something wrong, or you're just going through your everyday life, we instantly think it's us, right? We put all this pressure on ourselves. And we mean this in both ways, as in you putting unneeded pressure on yourself, but also it's kind of like, girl, it's really not all about you.
Right.
We all been there. I am definitely guilty of it, where I take, people's sadness or madness, I take it onto myself and I say, oh, what did I do? Or, how can I help? Or how am I acting, right? We instantly start questioning ourselves. And at the end of the day, sometimes it's not about you, right? And this is something I have learned too through coaching, right? Coaching our clients. Sometimes we carry what they got going on and say, well, is it because of, how are we acting? How is our energy? But at the end of the day, you can only control yourself. Only control yourself. And at the end of the day, people are only worried about themselves most of the time.
Boom. Say that again for the ones in the back, Darcey.
Yeah, exactly. So everybody is just worried about themselves, right? So a lot of times we're like, hey, do I look okay? Girl, nobody's looking because we're all looking at ourselves. Right. Or for instance, you are worried so much about other people's judgment. And that's something that I think we have both really grown in, where it's like, we're going to show up as our authentic self because it ain't about you. Right.
Yeah.
If people are really putting you down, judging you or anything like that, a lot of times it's about themselves, right? They're showing their own insecurities. And one of my new things is like when I'm questioning myself because of somebody else, really not thinking, hey, it's really not about me, it's on them, but also giving the outlook of leave the judging to Jesus. I'm not trying to bring Jesus.
Yeah. Yes.
Right? Leave it up to him. And stop taking everything so personally.
Okay. Like all of that times 10. I am here for it. Yes. I don't know what I can add to that. I will say though, you know what? You did make the comment of like within you and coaching. So let me say in coaching, that would be my biggest thing that I could bring it into is, that I do like the boot camp and things like that. And it's like, especially working with couples, you don't know where that trigger came from, but you're stepping on it. And you're stepping on it. And you're stepping on it. And it's like, well, I just don't know what it is about me that they just don't like, right? Or like, I can't say that, or he's going to get mad, or she's going to get mad. And it's not necessarily about you. It's a trigger that they have had for so long. And it just so happens that you're stepping on that trigger and it just so happens to make them explode. And it's not you. Anybody could say, whatever that comment is. Because you know how we say, oh, you know the buttons to push. You know what buttons to push to get your spouse, your significant other, your friends, your girlfriends, whatever it may be, your kids to explode. And we think that we just figured it out. Well, that button that you're pushing has something tied to it on the other end that has nothing to do with you. I will use my own example. For me, I don't like when someone asks me why I'm reacting that way. When they're like, why is that so funny? Or don't be upset. That's not, but, or what's my favorite one? You shouldn't be upset about that, or don't cry about that. I will flip a table over that ish. Like, if you flip a table. Don't tell me how to feel my feels, but it's because it's a trigger for me, because I was in a relationship where I wasn't allowed to laugh if they didn't think it was funny. I wasn't allowed to cry if they didn't think it was sad. I wasn't allowed to be angry if they didn't think that it was warranted to be angry about. And so I put into that was like, don't tell me what to feel. And now that's a trigger for me. For my husband, is asking why he did something. Because from a childhood, he has a trigger of always being questioned because he wasn't good enough. So when I ask him a question, I say, hey, I understand that this is something that you did, but I really want to know. I'm curious. What made you do this? Now, is that about me? No, but the love behind it makes me want to ask it a different way. And so to piggyback on everything that Darcey said, I feel like we have to take ourselves out of the equation. When someone cuts you off in traffic, that is not about you. You think, oh my goodness, how could they do that to me? Don't they know I got kids in the car? And it's like their wife could be giving birth to their first kid, right? Their wife, or they could be going to the hospital. Someone could have passed away. They could be late for the last time, and it wasn't their fault on the reason why they were late. And now they're trying to get to work. Nothing to do with you. But yet we will sit here and make it about us. And then guess what happens after that? We hold on to it for the rest of the day. Well, on my way to work, someone cut me off. And then I went to the store and they didn't even say hello to me. And then it goes on and on and on because you think it's about you. And it's so funny because that's the part of narcissism that we all have. That we forget that, when we're like, oh, they're narcissistic. Well, we all have some healthy parts of narcissism within us, but that's the part of the narcissistic abilities that we have to make it about us and for us to want to fight and be about something. Or, hey, they gave me the wrong change. I bet she's just trying to, because she thinks that I have this and she thinks I have that, so that she's not gonna. It could easily just been a mistake, right? So is it about you? I would say, well, hold on a second. Darcey, what percentage do you think on other people's reactions and the way other people treat you is about you? That's a question. There we go.
Yeah, so that's a hard one because I let me share something vulnerable, right?
Oh, yes, do it. Yeah.
So, my baby daddy. I used to always take it so personal that he didn't like to talk. I took it so personal to the point, obviously we are together, right? But now that I look back, it's more of this look of like, that wasn't even about me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So like that reaction that he gave to me when I would be like, why don't you talk to me? You know what I mean? Had really nothing to do with me, and that's just him, right? That's just him, or his own experience, or just him being quiet because that's how he reacts. So that is really—
Can I interrupt you for a second?
Yeah.
Low energy is not necessarily bad energy. Yeah. That is what I have learned from our podcast working together.
Yes. And I have learned from working with Christine, because she's a relationship coach, where it's like, that had nothing to do with you, girl. Yeah. How many times have you told me? You're like, yes. that's him. That ain't got nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
So I think it's really kind of sitting back and asking, right? And honestly, let's have that be the energy moment for this, is that when you are in a situation, and you're really questioning, like, why are they treating me like that? Ask yourself, is it really about you?
Right.
As you go into your next week, is it really about you? Because most of the time, it isn't, right? A lot of times, when it comes to judgment, other people's behavior, or as you said, pushing buttons, triggers, it ain't about you. It's about something that happened to them in the past, trauma, or just how they're feeling that day.
That's such a that it yes to all of that. And if we're gonna really be vulnerable, you guys know my story. You know what me and my husband have been going through, and I was so upset about the fact that he couldn't tell me. Like, why the hell could you not tell me that you had this? What about me? Like, how have I not shown up for you in this relationship for you to tell me that you were having blank, blank, and blank going on? And I held that. I'm like, what kind of woman cannot have her husband be completely, genuinely, and open with her?
Most.
It had nothing fucking to do with me. He was doing his. Right. He had his own thing. And the reason why he was doing the things that he was doing had nothing to do with me, because I thought it did. And then the reason why he didn't tell me, it didn't have anything to do with me. The way he continued didn't have anything to do with me. And then once we got to be able to put at the end of it, you know, when we got to the root, and was like, oh, bitch, this really had nothing to do with you. Right? And so free yourself from those things. Free yourself from saying, hey, she's mad about, I think of like PTA moms. Oh, well, she wants all the control and she doesn't want me. Maybe this is the one time she's been able to do something for the school, and she hasn't been able to feel valuable in her child's life, and this is the way she does it. Has nothing to do with the fact that she doesn't like that you want to do Arabian Nights over what is it, Under the Sea for PTA dance, right? Like, it has nothing to do with you. And if it does, trust and believe, if it did, people will let you know. They will let you know. You won't even have, the difference between when you're putting it on yourself and when someone is saying it is you. What is it? It's not you, it's me. Okay, we'll take that. And then just remember, if it is you, people will be like, it's you, not me.
Yep.
I think we forget people are as honest as we think that they are. Like, people can be very honest, and if you allow yourself to open that door for them, they will be honest. And that brings me into our homework for this week. And I want you to absorb this, because this is a very relationship, not necessarily marital or dating or relationship as in what is that called, a romantic relationship. There we go. When tragedy or loss or hard times hit us, how do you want me to support you through it? Okay. Hard times are going to happen. They will happen. You might be going through that right now, right? But being proactive rather than reactive, and plan for each other's scenarios. I know if my husband knows, if my grandmother passes away, knock on wood, I am going to get a dog, and I'm going to name her after, because it's going to be a girl dog, right? I'm going to name that dog after my grandmother. We've already had that conversation. That's something that I'm going to need. If something happens where one of you lose the job, or something happens to the kids, when something tragedy, hard loss happens, how do you want me to support you through that? And the reason why this is your homework is because it breaks up that barrier of, oh, they're just angry because I didn't do the dishes tonight, or they're just angry because I didn't go to her birthday party, or I'm just angry because blankety blink blink at work, whatever it may be. But if you say, and you're being, really into it, proactive, you will be able to say, hey, when something is happening, this is how I react. When I lose someone, I want to be alone with the shades drawn in my bed. And the way you can support me through that is by saying, hey, I see that you haven't eaten or taken a shower. Let me go ahead and draw you a bath and bring you some food, and then we can go through it. And then if they snap at you, you'll be like, oh, we already talked about this. They told me that when something happens, and something that will happen, right? Something that might be a tragedy or a loss or hard times, that they get kind of crabby. And then does that mean it has anything to do with you? No, you're already stopping that. You're already stopping that thought process that this has something to do with you.
Yeah, I love that.
Well, do you have anything else to add, Miss Darcey, to It's Not About You episode?
No, I think we covered it, and just like really take it in that when you're facing anything in life, right? Whatever you're going through right now, anxiety, confidence, relationships, really just sit back and be like, is this in my control?
Right? Yeah.
Is it in my control? Because if it's not, then bless and release. Bye.
Bless and release. I like that hand gesture. Do that again.
Y'all gotta come on YouTube so you can literally see. This is what I always say: bless, cross the
Bless.
chest, right?
Okay, bless.
And then throw it off the shoulder and
release.
Bye.
Bless and release. Oh, I like that.
Probably shouldn't swear, but bye.
My thing is, I forgive you. You hear me say that all the time. I'll be driving and I'll be talking to Darcey. I'll be talking to Darcey on the phone, and I'm like, I forgive you. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Like, this is not the one thing. And if you've been to the balance, the one I did where we talked about the fuck bucks, and it's like, I only have 5 fucks today, and I am not wasting one of my fucks on this.
Yeah. You should do another masterclass on that.
I actually am. Someone asked me to do one just based on fuck bucks, and I was like, oh my goodness, okay. I'm not gonna say her name.
When you speak, you will receive.
There you go. And we're going to do it. Well, thank you so much, because you guys know that we can talk and talk and talk. But thank you so much for showing up for the Align Her Coaching podcast, bringing in imagination discovery through every energy and relationship coaching. You can follow us on alignher.co on Instagram, like and subscribe us on YouTube. We have new episodes every Friday. You can listen to us on our podcast, Claim Your Worth, along with You Gotta Meet Her. And we are always here for your questions, because that's what we do. We're coaches. We want to help. And please share. That's the biggest one. You can like and subscribe, but share, because I know that there's something that we're probably talking about that you got a homegirl or a homeboy that's gonna want some of this information. Well, thank you so much, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.